Paltrocast. Is it good evening for you? It's like 5, 6 o'clock. You're almost at the end of the day, whereas I'm starting my day.
Yeah, you're in America, right?
I'm in America. I'm
Yes.
in New York, where your album was featured on a billboard in Times Square.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah. How did that happen?
Well, I am not entirely sure, but I'm suspicious that my label has something to do with it.
Yeah,
But that's very cool.
it's very funny to me because you were kind of the opposite of Times Square, where you're known to film your music videos in the Faroe Islands, you compose in the Faroe Islands, you are just very remote in a good way, a very nature oriented kind of performer. In Times Square, there's no nature anywhere near there. So have you actually been to Times
Oh,
Square
that's
before?
funny. I have actually. I've been to New York a few times, and actually quite recently, I played a gig in New York, and I took a walk in Times Square. So yeah, I've been there a few times, and I enjoy the contrasts. I mean, I come from a very tiny place and live very close to, among mountains and the ocean. And I do like the contrast sometimes to visit a big, noisy city. Yeah, there's something magical about that too,
Well,
especially when you combine the two.
right. Well, if I can keep complimenting you here, I don't know if you're done with compliments, if you hate compliments, but in terms of your career, your success has been in being yourself. You sing usually in your local language, the songs are in the local language, and most of the world does not speak that local language. You dress the way you want to dress, you make your content locally. So, when did you realize that you could just be yourself as an artist instead of chasing traditional hit songs or making sure that your songs were 3 minutes, 10 seconds long?
Oh, that's a very interesting question, I think. And I think it's something that every artist along the journey starts thinking about, because what it is about is digging deeper within yourself, I guess. Um, and for me, I don't know, at some point or very early in my career, I got very curious about my roots. From the Faroe Islands, the traditional music and all that, and I was kind of researching on how I could draw inspiration from that and create something new out of something old, and kind of turn it into my own expression. And it's just always been such a huge source of inspiration for me, I think. And yeah, and from there, I guess I've always taken like my starting point from that.
Yeah, so the music to my ears, it's traditional, yet the production is very modern and layered. When you're writing the song, does the production factor in, or does the production get added later and the arrangement comes later?
I think it's different from song to song. Often, sometimes I write a song just completely raw, like just a melody when I
Mhm.
go for a walk in the mountains or something, and I just think about a melody and that comes first, and then I build production around it. And other times it starts with a production idea, such as a beat or a bass line or something. So, and I like to vary it, how I write my songs, because it makes it, playful and exciting to change around how you build them. But yeah, so it depends on how it starts.
Are the bass lines ever from you? Because I've seen you play guitar. I don't think I've seen you play bass in YouTube footage.
Well, no, well, I'm not a good bass player at all, but when I create my ideas, I like to do all of it, like drums and bass and synths, and the whole arrangement usually comes from my studio. And then later on, I like to bring it out to my band and get a great bass player to play a bass line. And, you know, I have like the basic idea, but then my bass player in my band takes it further and makes it his own, because it's very important for me that my albums and that things feel organic, that it's played and it's not just a MIDI synth bass that plays the bass lines. I want it to have some weight in it, and yeah.
Got
So I make the basic ideas, and then I get my musicians to add their magic to it, I guess.
their magic. The last time I had the pleasure of speaking with you, you were promoting a song that you had written for a video game that, of course, tens of millions of people heard and was very successful. But at that time, you weren't a video game person. You know, you enjoyed the project, but not a video game person. Did that turn you into more of a video game person after seeing all the success of it?
To be honest, I'm still not a video game person at all. I guess, I mean, it's just not a thing that I'm good at. I tried, but I completely freak out when I play video games. I get way too, you know, nervous about it. But I like to watch my sisters and friends play video games. I enjoy that. But me, myself, I'm still not a gamer, but I really, really enjoy the process of making music for video games. And I'm fascinated by how beautiful these video games are, how like detailed, and you know, it's like movies. It's incredible.
Yeah. Now, what you just made a very interesting point. A lot of people I speak with talk about how video games help relax them, but my wife plays Tetris every day. And to me, Tetris is very unrelaxing, not relaxing. It's very stressful. Is that what you mean by video games being stressful? Something like Tetris?
For me, for me, I mean, I feel, oh my God, I have to do this. Oh my God, I have to go there. And, you know, it just completely stresses me out to play video games and Tetris. I would never play it.
Got it. But
But I watch the guys in my band play it all the time. They enjoy it. So I think it's, you either find it relaxing or stressful, all depending on which type you are.
but it sounds like walks have been important for you, not just mentally, but creatively over time, that you don't need to go to a gym. You walk for your well-being and for your career.
That's an interesting way to put it, and I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I think walks are incredible. If you feel stressed or you feel stuck in something or whatever, it's incredible what a walk can do to your mind, both creatively, but also just uh, to your thought patterns and stuff. And I think we don't realize it, but when we are somehow just close to nature, we without knowing it, we kind of tend to reset our brain a little bit. And I guess that's what I love about walks.
Does that make touring difficult? Because when you're touring, you not only have to care for your voice and travel, but you're away from nature in most of the cases.
Yeah, I guess that often when I'm on tour, I miss nature. But on the other side, on the other hand, you know, when you tour, you get to visit many new places and see, you get a lot of impressions when you tour. So I guess it's just a different kind of a different kind of medicine for your senses, I guess, to tour. And then, you know, everything has its own time. Then when I have time off at home, I go for these long walks in the mountains, which I enjoy. And on tour, I enjoy other things. And I like to go for a run in each city that I visit.
Oh,
It's a good way, like, to quickly scan, you know, the area and get some energy.
well, how long is a long walk? To some people, 30 minutes is, and other people, it's 5 hours.
No, oh no, not 5 hours. I'm way too impatient for that. For me, half an hour. Yes, max. Yes.
Got it. And
Yeah, it doesn't have to be long at all.
okay. And so we were connected, of course, to talk about the fact that you put out a new album about a month ago. N, am I saying that
Yes.
correctly? Is it N?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So
Perfect.
that album is done. When you have an album done, are you like Beck, where you're already making the next album, or do you just let it breathe and go 2-3 years from now we'll do a new album?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, usually when I do an album, I'm like, oh, finally it's done and put it out, and I feel like I need a break. And then slowly creativity kicks in again. But with this album, I have to be honest, I'm already working on new material. I think I've just been incredibly inspired in the process of creating this album, and I feel like I'm not done with this thing. So I'm already working on new songs that kind of I can't promise when it will be out, but yeah, the process continues at the moment. I
That's
can put it
exciting.
that way.
Do you have a lot of touring
Yes.
in support of N ahead of you?
Oh yeah. Yes, a lot. I'm playing a lot of festivals this summer. I've already played quite a few. So I'm touring. I'm doing like some festival touring at the moment, and then in the fall I'm going on my big release tour around Europe, and I'm going to Australia and New Zealand for the first time. And the touring will continue in the US early next year. So there's a lot of touring coming up.
Well, one thing I was curious about when I go through the credits of N, I see this part of
Yeah.
it was done in France, this part of it was done in Iceland. Do you have a coordinator that is able to make all these logistics happen? Or is this another secret skill of yours that you're able to talk to people all over and get everything done besides writing the thing?
Well, I have a good manager who is great at logistics and planning for me, but usually I'm a bit like I'm very energetic when I'm in the process of recording and writing, and I know so many cool. The reason I went to France is because I have friends who I wanted to work with on a few specific songs, and they have a great studio. So I was like, okay, let's go to France. And in Iceland, I know this incredible string quartet, so let's go to Iceland. And yeah, Faroe Islands is maybe where I've recorded most of the album, but then yeah, here and there, some things have been recorded like just remotely in my little backpack studio on travels. So
Got it.
yeah,
Well,
it's like yeah,
it gets
this
done.
music has been traveling quite a bit already.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds to me, before I ask my quick last two questions, it sounds like you are very compact, yet you know how to work with a big studio when you're presented one.
Yes, I love good studios. That's like the dream for every musician, to come into a studio with great gear and great microphones and yeah, all that stuff. So it's always enjoyable to work in good studios, but also just nice, inspiring environments. It can be just a little cottage somewhere, or a place that feels inspiring. You know, you can record music anywhere, really.
Got it. So, question number one of two before I let you go. What was the first Danish artist that really made you go, okay, they made it from here, I can make it? And I say that because the music industry, now everyone is from everywhere, but 15, 20 years ago, still, it was very London, Sweden, New York, Los Angeles, and it wasn't so international from my perspective.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think that I don't think there was like a Danish artist that that I listened to when I was younger, but I had um, other inspirations such as Bjork, because she's from Iceland, which is very close to the Faroe Islands, and we have very similar culture in the Faroe Islands as in Iceland, and the languages are very close. And Denmark is a bit far away from us culturally, although we're under Denmark as a country, but we have kind of our own language and our own government. So I think for me, when I was a teenager, I looked up to someone like Bjork or yeah. And it was incredible to see, and Sigur Rós, for example, and it was incredible to see like how they were just taking over the world in the 90s when I was a teenager, and it was like, wow, they come from a small country just like me, and maybe it's possible to be a musician after all.
And so it wasn't Dizzy Miss Lizzie.
No, not for me, but no.
And the last question, and this is intended to be a compliment. When I look at your career, you've long-term just been yourself, and it's been successful, and it's been organically growing, and you didn't need a viral video to do that. You didn't need to necessarily work with outside collaborators. You didn't do a lot of the things that artists do when they're kind of desperate to have a global hit. So is there anything in your career that you're still hoping will happen? Is there a big goal that you're working towards overall?
Well, I guess I've chosen like the long way as an artist. No huge labels or although all those things. I've enjoyed creating my music independently and releasing it independently for many years, and by that you kind of have your creative freedom, which is like so important for me. And I mean, I feel I've achieved so many goals just these past few years by touring, and having a bigger audience now than I did like 10 years ago. And it's just incredible that I mean, I would never even dream of being able to play in front of like 2,000 and 10,000 people, but I'm lucky to do that now. And I don't know, I think my goal, and I'm not sure, I'm just really happy to get to do what I love and to have an audience. And yeah, I just hope that I can continue to do that.
Well, I'm glad that there's more music coming soon, that there's more touring. Us Americans are going to get some more concerts in the near future. So thank you for your time, and thank you for the many years of great art.
Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed speaking to you.
Paltrocast.